Hi, my name is Adrian O'Hanlon and welcome to my page, Exam Heroes. Here I've added a number of videos on politics and society and on business for the Leaving Certificate. Subscribe here to ensure that you don't miss out on any added content and that you keep up to date with all of the resources. Best of luck in your studies and good luck in your exams. Leaving Certificate Business, Ordering Level, and the topic is the European Union. The European Union comprises of 27 countries. In the 2019 exam, students were asked to name 3 European Union countries that Ireland trades with. You can name any of the 3 countries there in green. For example, Portugal, Spain and France would be a sufficient answer. But if you said anything like America, Mexico, South Africa, China, these are not countries within the European Union, therefore your answer would be incorrect. To understand how the European Union works, you need to understand what a tariff is and what a trading bloc is. A tariff is a tax placed on foreign products by a country. A trading bloc is a group of countries that trade with no tariffs. And the European Union is an example of a trading bloc. So for example, if Ireland imports goods from France, Spain, Portugal, there's no tariffs. But if they import goods from the US, there is. For example, you can see the EU tariffs on US goods and the US tariffs on EU goods. Here's an example of all the different trade blocs we have across the world. Currently, there is what's called a trade war going on between many countries, including the US and China. The US and China are increasing tariffs against each other.
The Adventures of Tariff Man!
Up in the sky, it's a circus, Peanut. It's Tariff Man!
Yes, it's Tariff Man!
A question that has come up quite a bit over the last number of years are, what are the advantages to Ireland being a member of the European Union? Usually they ask for 2 or 3 advantages. First one is free trade. Being in the EU trading bloc means that Irish companies won't pay tariffs. Second is the euro currency, makes it easier for business to compare prices. Larger market means greater export opportunities for Irish business. Free movement of labour, Irish companies can employ EU nationals without the need for a work permit. And the last one is attract American multinationals. American multinationals come to Ireland so they can access the EU market. EU institutions. The 4 points there in bold are very important. This question comes up quite a lot. Typically you're asked to list or name 2 or 3 EU institutions. First is the European Commission. It is the executive of the European Union, responsible for initiating laws, enforcing the laws of the EU and managing the EU's policies. The European Parliament, part of the lawmaking process in the European Union. The Brexit Party, led by Nigel Farage, was very critical of these EU institutions. The Brexit Party, through Farage, just wanted free trade with the rest of Europe. That meant no tariffs. Here you'll see a very interesting clip where he wants, as part of Brexit, free trade, i.e. no tariffs, but he's still very critical of the EU institutions, and you'll see this in his last ever speech at the European Parliament.
What do we want from Europe? If we want trade, friendship, cooperation, reciprocity, we don't need a European Commission. We don't need a European Court. We don't need these institutions.
There's also the ECB, which is the European Central Bank. This is responsible for monetary policy, including the euro currency. So before the euro currency we had the Irish punt, but now through the ECB we now are part of the euro currency. The last is the ECJ, which is the European Court of Justice, and this ensures that European law is interpreted and applied in the same way in every member state. So it's very important for EU institutions to remember at least 2 or 3 of these.
Court of Justice of the European Union has upheld the equal treatment of men and women and enforced anti-discrimination rules to ensure that everyone is treated the same under the law. For example, in a landmark case in 1976, brought by a woman complaining about an airline's compulsory retirement age of 40 for female flight attendants, the Court of Justice upheld the right of women to be granted equal treatment with men in the workplace.
Another question that comes up quite a lot is to state or name 2 or 3 EU policies. Here's 4 examples. The Common Agricultural Policy. For example, farmers have to have a sustainable income. Farmers also have to produce meat or food in a healthy way. We also have the European Monetary Policy. This controls the EU currency. The Environmental Policy. We all have targets we have to reach in 2030. And we have to lower our carbon footprint. And this is an agreed policy by all EU members. The last one is the Common Fisheries Policy, which we'll look at a brief video now. So here are some questions that have been asked over the past number of years on the European Union. For example, you can see that the term tariff comes up again in 2019. 16, name 2 European policies. 18, you have trading bloc, regulation, embargo, quota, tariff. And 17, again, tariff, trade barriers. Advantages for Ireland being a member of the EU. Understanding the European Union, you need to understand what a tariff is, what a trading bloc is. If you understand this, then this will make the rest of the chapter much more easy for you. As well as that, then you'll have to maybe state 3 EU policies or EU institutions. Here's an interesting clip from Nigel Farage and Mairead McGuinness, who was representing Ireland in the EU Parliament.
That's it, it's all over. Finished. We've gone.
Could I please ask for quiet? Please sit down, resume your seats, put your flags away, you're leaving, and take them with you if you are leaving now. And goodbye. Can I just say, if I'm